Hey everyone, today we're answering questions every fan has been asking after Stranger Things Season 5. Is 11 alive or dead? Why didn't we see any demogorgons in the final fight? Did all those pregnant women in the Upside Down die? And why did Vecna feel so weak in the finale? We'll break it all down step by step. Watch the whole video. Let's get into it. 1. Is 11 alive or dead? If you watch the finale scene carefully, the wormhole's pressure looks insanely strong. The Upside Down is literally being pulled shut. Yet when we look at 11, her clothes aren't blowing, and there's no visible air pressure affecting her. That's strange because the scene makes the surrounding air and objects show intense wind and force. Some viewers thought what we see could be an illusion created by Kaylee. But even if it were an illusion, how would it get inside Mike's mind? Remember, 11 needs to be in water or close her eyes to channel and use her powers normally. How would she be able to affect Mike's mind from there? Also, if 11 had used full force, why didn't blood come from her nose? A classic sign she's pushed her powers to the limit? In the finale, 11 actually gets shot, and the blood makes it clear that what's happening isn't just a mental illusion, it's real. She does die in that moment, on screen. Some fans argue 11 couldn't use powers there because a machine was active in that sequence. Others insist Kali used her powers remotely. We've seen in Season 5 earlier scenes that Kali is shown being able to affect things at long range, so different explanations are being debated by fans. But the decisive evidence in the finale is 11's wound and blood, which strongly indicate she really dies in that scene. Also, small details like the finger glitch, the visual effect on 11's fingers, are used to support Mike's theory in the show. Mike even theorizes they will find a place with 3 waterfalls, but in the final footage there are only 2 waterfalls. The Duffer brothers purposely leave the question for the audience. Is 11 alive or dead? They don't give a neat answer. 2. Why are people moving so freely in the Upside Down now? What about the oxygen masks? In earlier seasons, scientists had to wear oxygen masks to enter the Upside Down because breathing there was difficult. So why do characters in Season 5 roam around without masks so easily? It's not that the Upside Down has no breathable air at all. In Season 1 and Season 4, the show makes clear that the Upside Down environment and Hawkins sometimes had a difference in atmosphere. By the end of Season 4, the series hints that the separation between Hawkins and the Upside Down has become less distinct, meaning breathing or moving might be less hazardous in some areas. Also, characters now have more knowledge and better ways to move through it compared to early expeditions. So the masks from earlier seasons were used when scientists didn't know what was coming. Later, the edges between worlds changed and made movement easier. What about all the pregnant women we saw in the Upside Down? Did they die? No, that was a confusing moment for many viewers. The pregnant women shown in Kaylee's backstory were part of earlier experiments, times when people were being experimented on using Kaylee's blood. Those experiments had already failed and were shut down long ago. That means those pregnant women were not casualties from the finale's wormhole collapse. They were part of a past human experiment related to Kaylee's backstory, not recent victims dragged into the Upside Down by the finale's events. 4. Why didn't Vecna use demogorgons in the final battle? Why did we not see demogorgons or demodogs? By Season 5, the number of demogorgons and demodogs is extremely limited. Many died in earlier seasons. Season 2 saw a big loss of demodogs, and Season 4 showed that Russians had captured or killed some demogorgons. In Season 5, there are only very few left. At one point in the season, Will helps kill 3 demogorgons using his connection and powers. By the time of the final battle, the remaining demogorgons and demodogs may already have been exhausted or eliminated. That's why Vecna doesn't send an army of demogorgons in the finale. There simply aren't many left to call on. In one scene, Vecna sends demodogs instead of demogorgons to attack Max, but Mike's mom kills them. It's possible that by the finale, practically all demogorgons and demodogs have been wiped out, so Vecna has nothing left to summon. Why did Vecna get defeated so easily in the final battle? A few reasons work together here. Vecna's focus and control were weakened. Over the seasons, Vecna's power dynamic changes. In Season 1, he had tight control and was very dangerous. By Season 5, parts of Vecna's power had been consumed or split, especially because Will and other characters form strong psychic links that interfere with him. Multiple simultaneous attacks. In the finale, Vecna, Henry Creel, is attacked from multiple places at once. 11's assault on the real body that Vecna inhabits, Will's psychic connection doing damage, and the rest of the team physically attacking the body that contains the Mind Flayer Vecna projection. Attacking Vecna on 3 fronts, physically, mentally, and spiritually, spreads and weakens him. 11's total power output. 11 throws everything into the fight. In that sequence, you can see blood streaming from both of 11's nostrils, a clear sign she's giving her absolute all. She is draining herself to destroy Vecna. At the same time, Will is holding some control, connecting and countering Vecna's influence. Because of these combined efforts, Vecna cannot sustain himself and is finally defeated. About Henry, Vecna. As a character, Henry Creel, was not born a villain. He was turned into one by circumstances. He had no emotional support or friends to ground him at the right time, and that is part of the tragedy of his arc. The show builds his backstory to explain how he becomes Vecna. So, to sum up, the finale deliberately leaves some ambiguity, but the on-screen evidence makes it clear 11 appears to die in that moment. The lack of demogorgons is explained by their dwindling numbers across previous seasons. The pregnant women we saw were part of old experiments, not recent victims, and Vecna's defeat comes from a perfect storm: multiple attacks, Eleven's full sacrifice, and Will's psychic intervention. When Joyce and Hopper are sitting at Enzo's, Hopper talks about a job that was offered to him. He says he got a phone call from an old friend. There is a need for a new chief of police in Montauk, and that job was in a very specific location: Montauk, New York. If you don't know this already, originally the entire story of Stranger Things was supposed to be set in Montauk, New York. In real life, Montauk is famous for alleged government experiments, and that is where the core idea of the show came from. Because of this scene is not just a normal conversation. It is actually a very big hint that a Stranger Things spin-off could be set in Montauk, New York. This would mean a completely new location, a new story, and entirely new characters. It would be totally separate from the Hawkins, Indiana chapter, and that is exactly what makes it the perfect way to move the franchise forward. The Duffer Brothers have already said that the Stranger Things Season 5 finale will include a scene that sets up a future spin-off. They have also clearly stated that in any spin-off series, the old characters will not return. Still, if the story is set in Montauk, it is possible that Hopper could appear as the chief of police there, while all the other characters would be completely new. The Duffer Brothers have also mentioned that they do not directly call this the Stranger Things universe in the traditional sense. Instead, they want to create something similar to what Marvel did, expanding the world with new stories, new characters, and new concepts while keeping the core spirit alive. Their main motive is simple: Stranger Things should never truly end. It should continue to live on through new stories, new characters, and new ideas. This makes it clear that Stranger Things is not limited to Hawkins alone. Its universe can be much bigger than we ever imagined. If I missed any theory or detail you want covered, drop it in the comments. Which theory do you believe? Is 11 really gone? Or could the Duffer Brothers have left her survival door open? Tell me what topic to cover next. See you in the next video.